speaker is Padma. She's also a regular speaker at Scrum Bangalore. She's here for the second time. And remember, in the morning we spoke about Scrum, like it's designed for software development. Let's hear about how we can do wonders outside of IT. Warm welcome, please.
Okay, so can you hear me? I think you can hear me. Where are we standing now? Yeah, right between you and your lunch, correct? So I know the lunch starts as soon as I stop, so you'll all be looking at your watches when I'm going to stop. So I'll try to do my best. So you have my name and I'm on LinkedIn. I can also share my email ID to slide. So if we are not able to cover all aspects of your questions, I know some questions may be there. Don't hesitate to reach out. We can always have a discussion outside of this forum as well. Okay, so yeah, when I started as an Agile coach, predominantly for a very long time I did Agile and the Scrum and Kanban and all of those models in the software development area, and that's where we are all familiar with where we are. And then recently, in my new assignments as an enterprise coach when I started off about a few years ago, there the question was, development teams go ahead, they are agile, they are fast, they are flexible, they are adaptable, they are quick. What happens to the rest of the organization when they have to catch up? So we always hear these questions, especially in large organizations where development teams come back and say, what is the point? Why should I sprint so fast when the organization anyway has release dates which is like 9 months from now? Why am I even going to sprint so ahead? Why should I give a working software demo at the end of every sprint when anyway the organizations have the fixed plans when we should go to market, when we should release, and what's the point? Anyway the cost is fixed at the finance team level, the recruitment team don't give us the team members as and when we want, we are not agile, then what's the point in we going fast and going agile at the end of the day? So those questions starts coming up, especially when you are transforming an entire organization. And when we say enterprise transformation, enterprise is not all about IT. Enterprise is beyond IT. And when those teams are not able to catch up with the rest of the organization, it becomes very difficult for the development team alone to be sprinting all the time throughout the year and then wait till 8-9 months to see when their products will go live and when their features will go live and things like that. So that is when we started thinking of transformation is at an enterprise level. Everybody take step at the same time. It's not that one person 1,000 steps ahead, but 1,000 people one step at a time. That's how the transformation should be. So that's when these thought processes started coming into enterprises. A lot of organizations are implementing this beyond IT, of course. And we have actually done a little bit differently from a Scrum model. And some way we have customized it a bit, and luckily for us, both Jeff Sutherland and Kekshavar are happy when we are breaking the rules. That's what they say in Scrum guide, when you are too good with it, break them. Whether I don't know we are too good at it, we have broken them. That's the fact. So second thing, thank you all for giving me the opportunity, awareness, Scrum Bangalore team here. So this is my profile which you can see later on. So these are the 4 business units I'm going to touch. There are probably other units which we will be interested in, but in the interest of time, I'll probably restrict to these 4 business units for today. So in fact, if you go to Scrum website, Jeff's website actually, this is Jeff Sutherland, I'm sure you all know about it. So he has written recently a lot of blogs as well as a couple of white papers, and also has some videos on how they have been doing Scrum beyond IT in their assignments. So you can go and see it in this. One of the recent assignments, I think which he completed in around 2012, was a open view where they did a fantastic job of Scrum in the sales and marketing team, and how OpenView was able to go to market much faster when the sales and marketing team also became Scrum. So those case studies are already coming out and they are available for us.
Who's the other one?
Jeff Sutherland. He is Jeff Sutherland. So when we ask rest of the organizations, when we go for as coaches to enterprises, Satya and all will agree with me, Nagesh mentioned here. So usually the teams tell us, we want to do agile, but we are very busy now. So especially when you go to an organization like a HR or a really cannot transform at this moment to something else that we are already doing. So the question is, are you in your ball game, are you using something to be much faster than what you are doing? That's one of the questions as a coach you have to ask. And why do we need? So many people ask also, like, why do I need to be Scrum? I don't have a product. So everybody have a notion that if you are doing Agile, if you are doing Scrum, you should have a product. I will not be able to create a Scrum Master in my role. I can't give a demo of anything at the end of 2 weeks. So why Scrum? How can I do Scrum? So Scrum is not all about that. It's about team. It's not all about having a product owner, having a Scrum Master and having a team to develop or do the coding. Scrum is beyond that. Like I remember way back, I think a recent conversation in LinkedIn was also happening about Agile beyond IT, and actually I wrote a blog on that also recently. I remember like when I was a kid, I used to go to my grandparents' house, which is about 120 kilometers from here, and my grandfather was a farmer. And now when I recollect, I see that like they were much more agile than what we are actually today. They used to have a daily stand-up. I remember most of the farmers coming into my grandfather's house, they decide what needs to be done. They look at the sky, they look at the weather and say what needs to be done and how are we going to do. And then they say like, okay, halfway through the year, suddenly the rain doesn't come that year or they have excess rain. Now what do we grow? So they do changes. And every day evening again they all come back home in the evening. If any of you have had farmers as your parents or grandfathers, you may recollect. Again they discuss what happened at the end, throughout the day today, and so what should they do next day. So a small retrospective almost every day. So I was actually thinking like we are not doing anything great. So if our probably not so educated grandparents, community in agriculture and all could use, why not so what are we trying to do? Customer satisfaction. What can I give to my customer? For HR, the development team is a customer. For financing, the development team is a customer. And why don't we support them through the Agile way when they are all sprinting so fast in the year? How can we support them better? How can we get an early feedback so that we know we are hiring the right people? We know we are budgeting or we are funding the right set of products for in our organizations. And we are self-organized, so we don't need any additional time frame to catch up with them. Because we are self-organized, we immediately take the feedback and we support them the way they want. So the whole organization is under a rhythmic cadence which is not different from the development team at this moment. So what happened, and this is one of the most popular papers, and I'm sure if most of you have read it, but if you have not read it, I request you to read this. This is like about 8 to 10 pages, if I'm correct. This was published way back in '86 by the Toyota people in the Harvard Business Review. So what used to be a relay race, even now it's happening in the enterprise. Now we have moved away from development at least, we have moved into Agile, we have moved into Scrum. But what has happened with the rest of the organization is still relay race. We will give a requirement to hiring team. By the time they hire and serve, especially in India, we know that a notice period of 2 months and 3 months. By the time the person comes in, probably that's not what we wanted, or that's not the right time to hire because we really don't need a new person now, or we have already developed the internal talent for it. So many things have changed in that. So it's like we give a pattern, they work on it and come back to us after a month or 2 months, and things have changed by that time because we are not talking on a daily basis what we want with them or how things are changing between us. So the rugby approach, what we are using in the Scrum game is something which the entire organization should start following. So human resource, of course, is all about much more than talent acquisition and value development. But here I'm going to restrict it to due to time constraints and also some of the other performance appraisals and other things are coming out in other topics, and it's vast topic by itself. The minute I take performance appraisal, I'm sure I will not be able to move on to the next slide. So in the interest of time, maybe I'll get an opportunity to come back and talk how we have been able to do performance appraisal in the Agile teams in one of its as a single topic by itself. So how we did it in talent acquisition and learning and development. So, and I'm just going to put the team board and talk about it. So what we did was, we did follow a combination of a little borrowed information from Kanban, but used 2 week sprints for the HR talent acquisition. sometimes we have also done 1 week sprints for them where we get the requirement on a Monday and then we start talking to them by Friday. So what we have done for the confidentiality purposes, I have removed the names and have created a board. I couldn't get a photo because it's a client specific information. So what these color codings are, what we did was for each business unit. So each business unit had a color code of the post-it, and then that was making it life easy with the board itself to see which business unit is coming back to us for most number of it. In fact, in some of the teams we have gone ahead where we have created a board for business unit itself and post-its are specific to the roles. Like what type of roles I want. Do I want a Java? Do I want a technical specialist? Do I want an architect? So we have even further broken the boards into that level just to create a visibility. And then there is of course a pipeline, what do we do? And then it's the normal Scrum board that goes into within a day. And every day the HR team comes for a daily stand-up and there are weekly updates we provide to the BU. The weekly updates for early feedback. Because what they wanted may change within a week or two by the time even we come back to the new resume. Because it takes anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. What we have seen in a cycle is anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks to get the right resume, even to be screened for the business units. It's not like I want a profile now and tomorrow they are having 10 profiles for us. It takes so much time. So screening the profiles and all that. So a weekly update, so to get a first-hand information and take early feedback, and a weekly retrospective, specifically in HR and talent acquisition, we thought that's very important because if they don't retrospect and find out what are we getting the right set of people and are we getting the right set of resumes and things like that, then it's not going to be easy. So we started doing a little bit of a weekly sprint for the HR teams, which we did differently for the other teams. And then I'll come back to the slide on the results. I'll just come back to that. And from here onwards, it moves on to the HR the generalistic.
Can I take a question now or later?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So what is the biggest bottleneck? I'm very interested in that topic.
Yeah, the biggest bottleneck is from the HR interview, offer and confirmation. Generally, what we also did in our client places, we know that people cannot come back. We are like especially a Bangalore-based client that I was working for, the offices are very far. If you ask them to come for a first round on today and after 2 days come down for a second round, the candidate loses interest. We found out all that during the retrospective, and one thing that we really did well was on the same day, we would request the candidate to be available from 9 to 6. We will do all the rounds depending upon how the rounds go, and we will finish it everything in one shot. And then by the time you have gone for all the rounds until the HR round, if you cross the hurdles, then even the discussions of what package and everything is done. So within one day all that. So that way we are not asking the candidates to come back again and again to the location for interviews. And that also gives everybody a chance to see the candidate, assess the physical appearance, the body language of the candidate. Most of the business units want to do that. However much telephonics are good. That's answer. So that way we were able to get the candidates to come on one day. That's one improvement we did. So we removed that bottleneck. Earlier the bottleneck was the candidate will not come back for round 2 because he is in Sarjapur Road. The office is in somewhere else and he misses the traffic and he can't come. I just complete the bottleneck piece.
What scale you are talking about? How many recruitments in a year or month or whatever?
Oh yeah, it's like it's a 4,000 people organization, very large. So it's a recruitment on, like we used to have, and we also used to have recruitments usually on a Friday. So generally it's a lot. People are able to take out some time on Friday, the full day to be available full day. If you ask them to come full day on a Monday or Tuesday, so that's again something we gave a feedback. Earlier we tried doing it midweek and people used to say, no, we have sprint planning either on Wednesdays or Thursdays. So these are some lessons we learned because most teams starts their sprint midweek. They don't want to end their sprint on a Friday. So their sprint planning is either on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So automatically every 2 weeks their sprint demos and retrospectives can again come back on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So we started doing that for a Friday. So the people were able to take off time and anyway if they go early, this can start their long weekend and all that. Our next bottleneck which we have not yet kind of done because probably things are not in our hands is from offer to confirmation and confirmation to actually joining. People are not looking for one job, people people have 2 to 3 offer letters when they come for interviews. They take the offer letter, they take the confirmation, they don't turn up on the day of the election. Because by the time you give the confirmation, there is at least a minimum of 60 to 90 days of notice period for every candidate that we are hiring. So that anything can go wrong or go right between 60 to 90 days. Go wrong for you or go right for the candidate, of course, because he has a better offer there. So go right or wrong for the organization. So that is where we are having a bottleneck. We are trying to see what can we do to reduce the bottleneck. We can't eliminate because every organization, of course, my own organization has a 60-day notice period. So I cannot ask someone else to reduce it to a 1 week when I have a 60-day follow-up. So we are trying to work on, that's our biggest bottleneck. You want to add on the big bottleneck?
You said actually, I think you conducted the same day. That was the proposal always happening with the HR side. Not now actually.
No, not many organizations. What happens is when the... Yeah.
And that's a proposal, good proposal actually. But when you're talking about reality, getting the panel availability is the biggest challenge.
Exactly. That's what's the bottleneck which we cleared and we told well in advance. That's where the teams will talk weekly and say, you give me commitment for all the interviews on Friday, only then I'll get the candidate. That's why we moved to a weekly sprint, and almost on every Friday we used to have multiple interviews for that position to be filled up.
But with respect to delivery team actually always uncertain part of time.
What is that?
Uncertainty is important.
Yeah. That's where we have to manage, right?
It's already reached.
That's where you have to have a backup panel. You have to have a backup person who can interview on your behalf. I mean, like for example, we have used to, myself, Satya, Nagesh, we are all colleagues. When we used to coach, if I am not there, for some reason I have to go, we are not asking the candidate to come back, but somebody else will back up for me to interview that candidate. So those are the things which comes out best because you are an agile environment. You start thinking about it.
Second challenge. When you're talking about talent backlog group.
Yeah, so is this implementation aspect of the HR and the hierarchy remain the same as in the organization? Or
Hierarchy as in?
they might have a hierarchy of how and who should do the work?
Exactly. For every role there is
They
a...
will come together in terms of how they act for this entire hiring process.
See, it is still the multiple interviews, but it's happening on the same day. So first round is generally an SME if it's a technical round interview. And then the second round is a combination of technical plus next level expectations. And the third round is mostly a BU head or a BU agent, leader who wants to see is this overall fitment for is this person overall fitment, more not of a subject matter but more a fitment from a BU perspective and a longevity perspective for the BU. That's how it is. So you will have multiple people. It's not the same panel will sit through and do all the 3 rounds. It's like you block a room, the 2 people, the 3 people panel will come, do that 1 hour, go back and then HR updates and things like that. And we even take care of lunch and other things for these team members who have come because they have come throughout the day. So that's how it was streamlined and designed to make the candidate comfortable and make the BU also comfortable, saying that now I am finished, what next? So we have an answer by end of the day, what next with this candidate?
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
One last question. So, can you identify a WIP limit because you're talking about
Yes,
WIP?
exactly. If you see even in my picture, I have created the picture exactly how it is, and you will not see more than 5 in any list. And if we have more than 5 and if it's really priority, we go and talk to the business units. We go and negotiate with the big business units saying, which one is higher priority, why don't you talk, because we really don't have a bandwidth to go beyond 5 hiring at one time. So we really have, we used to restrict it to 5 VIPs. If you see, that's what I've created in my...
So it's a weekly throughput.
It's a weekly...
Isn't that a bottleneck?
What is that?
Isn't that a bottleneck? 5 offers?
Yeah, but where is the bandwidth for the HR to go beyond that? So we have to find out, and then probably HR needs to be strengthened to do that, or we have to do something else. If there is so much requests coming for hiring, probably we have to do something else then. Yeah.
You said about customers, right? How often you involve the BUs or the external?
All the time.
Retrospectives, do you know all the
Yes, yeah, some BU representative will be there who was part of the panel. Anybody, maybe the SME panel, maybe from the BU leader also sometimes. But one of them have to come for not necessarily retrospective, but more from updates perspective. Because retrospective is for the HR team. You really don't want anybody outsider coming for your retrospective, right? A typical Scrum rule is what we follow.
It's actually mapped with the Scrum. Like
It's
weekly
mapped with the
updates,
Scrum, yeah.
But weekly update is
Yeah,
sprint
yeah.
review.
So, but the only thing is we did away with the product owner and a Scrum Master concept. Within the team, one of the team member would wear a hat of the Scrum Master role for that week and take them.
Are you following Scrum process or Kanban process?
Scrum, but weekly Scrum.
Are they following all the ceremonies?
Yes, not all. There is no demo, but we will give an update to the BU saying this is what happened.
The reason I asked this question actually, a lot of recruiters actually they don't understand the actual requirement.
Yeah.
Hiring manager is completely different. Reality I'm talking about. The person who is ready, the JD is different person, right? The recruiter is not even trying to understand what is the requirement exactly, right? He said product backlog booming meeting is happening, evaluating like business
Exactly.
person and trying to
Yes.
understand the requirement.
Yes, that is where your weekly updates to BU or discussions are for what do we do next week. Are the acceptance criteria and other things clear from the requirements perspective? Have they gone through the JD and everything is fine? So all of those ceremonies are. That's why we did 2 for a Kanban, because Kanban doesn't give you much space for grooming and other backlog refinement and other sessions. Okay, I think I'll have to move on because I'm still in my first slide and your lunch will be delayed. If you are okay, okay. So learning and development, once a team member comes in, is next thing what happens is learning and development within the organization. Again, if you see, the backlog can be as many as possible, but then what are the things that needs to be done? What happens in a learning and development is what are the mandatory trainings that the team member has to do? What are the optional trainings the team member has to do, but mandatory for that business unit, and so many other things. And if the person has to travel outside as soon as the person joins, and which country is that person going to, is this first time for that person, then do we need to train this person on the cultural aspects of the country that person is going to. So a lot of things comes into the learning and development, and in most large organizations the mandatory trainings are like you have to do it within the first 30 days a few, Satya is smiling, 60 days another few trainings and 90 days, and then they all come back after a year for you with an updated training list. So managing that, and we used to have lot of gaps where we used to have a list of people who did not complete the mandatory trainings, and you generally send a reminder mail and directly goes into the junk mail box of the person who is receiving that mail. He is not even looking into the mail saying that. Until your performance appraisal discussions come where your manager says, until you complete this training mandatory, I am seeing I am not going to do your appraisal. So until such a time, you will not do. So we used to face that problem. So we said, let the learning and development team also go. And what we also used to facilitate was bring the team members who have not done it together and encourage them to do it together, so that also create a kind of a learning environment for them instead of sitting in their desks and do. That's an option, not a mandatory, but some fun learning to create with them. Yeah. You have a question? Okay, and again here we went for a 2 weeks wait because it was not. They do have some time for mandatory trainings to be completed, so we didn't see a need for doing a weekly sprint. So we used to do an alternate daily stand-up, or even sometimes do it once in 2 days, and then a bi-weekly update to BU saying which of the new recruits have completed the trainings, whichever have not done, and drive it through the leadership of the BU rather than sending a mail from the HR, because we know that any mail goes from HR, nobody reads it. And then a bi-weekly retrospective of how are we, and again removing any bottlenecks and what can we do better. If we see a good ratio of people who have completed this week, we probably want to repeat that again in the next sprint so that we get the same ratios. So good results we got, the talent acquisition efficiency in terms of the candidates coming in, the time frame, because we were able to complete all the interviews on the same day. That cycle earlier, we used to have the interviews, the 3 or 4 rounds of interviews used to take a month. First round and between 3 days gap, and then another second round and all that. So that itself came down. The joint formalities were made hassle-free because there was a visual board. So we had a clear picture of who is coming in, who are the people who are joining today. Have a warm chat with them a week before to see that they are really coming in, and not lose good candidates due to the delay in the recruitment process, delay in the offer letters and things like that. and learning and development also became very easy because identifying the trainers if they are mandatory classroom trainings and identifying defaulters, everything became easy and it was not a chasing, more of driving through the business. So we gave the ownership to the business units to drive people, defaulters for trainers. That made life easy because business units help the team members to understand why it's mandatory and started doing. Because if it goes from HR, it's generally taken very lightly by the team members. So then coming back to the finance team, yeah. So we all understand the two components in the finance team is capital expenditure and operational expenses, right? Yeah.
Going to the last slide.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit that we improved the way the HR operated in hiring people. But the question of are they hiring the right people will still remain.
Yeah, those are the things which are like work in progress, right? You will always learn something. That's where your weekly retrospectives help. That's where you will see like how many people. So that takes about 3 to 6 months for us to find out that. But we have a process in place where we discuss that with our weekly BU meetings. But then it takes 3 to 6 months. But the immediate results that we could see was the speed with which we were able to recruit fill the open positions and get them start working with the team members.
So does it also tell us saying that the speed with which you're recruiting bad people also?
It won't say that with the same pace. I mean, you will need about anywhere 3 to 6 months or 9 months to find out what type of people you have recruited. But that's part of the retrospectives. We anyway have saying how many people we have received complaints against that this was not the right candidate we had to hire. And where did we go wrong? Which round did we actually find it and still went ahead? Did any of the panels come back and say, I'm not too sure, but still let's go ahead and did we take a decision at that time? Those are the things which are in place, but it took time. Those results take time for us to monitor and come back.
Are we tracking in L&D, are we tracking BU specific training?
Yes.
Or individual trainer or a training?
No, so BU specific team members who have to complete the training as part of the L&D
It's
activities.
a group we are tracking or
Yeah, it's
individual candidate?
It's an individual candidate. So new people have joined and they have to go through some mandatory trainings and optional trainings. Have they done it? Have they not done it? If they have not done it, how do we handle that? It's at individual level. But in the post-its, it's at BU level. Like 5 people pending in BU1, 3 people pending in BU2.
And
So we go to
training as well, we track?
What is that?
Let me say somebody is joining.
Mhm.
I need as an onboard process couple
Yeah.
of type of training. For example, agile as well as
Right.
technical training
Right.
as well as domain training.
Yeah.
How we track all 3 trainings there.
Yeah, all the trainings. That's why we use those post-its.
So it's a BU specific?
It's a BU specific plus training specific. So this person is joining a Scrum team and this person has not come with any Scrum related background. So within the first 2 weeks, this person should complete the basic Agile, basic Scrum and whatever other frameworks that the organization is following. So those are already written, like those are like what we used to call as definition of done. Have they done this, have they done this, have they done this? Only then they are ready to be put on to the actual work.
BUD may be a business unit specific.
Right, business unit specific.
One question actually.
Yeah.
In order to reduce the turnover time, right?
Mhm.
Quick response to this, right? Some companies actually they used to follow 6 rounds, like okay? So 5 rounds, 6 rounds of. I was just going to like delay my turnover time. Right? So did you give any recommendation like nothing? Why are you keeping like this many rounds? Even though at the same skill set, Java, SAP, that kind of stuff basically, right? You have multiple skill sets, doesn't make sense. 2 levels, 3 levels. So people believe that actually like, if you have more level of interview, you get quality candidate.
No, as a HR team, if I'm coaching an HR team, I don't think I couldn't recommend a HR team to question the BU's decision of how many rounds we should have. So that's a decentralized decision. The BU should take how many rounds I want to do for this particular role so that I can hire this. I wouldn't probably recommend a HR team to make that call and say, yeah.
You discuss about the product backlog and grooming and that stuff like that.
We only look at the requirements, we don't ask them questions as to why. It's the typical product owner, right? You won't ask a product owner why this is a priority, why you want to do this. Maybe you will ask a limited question That's left to the BUs. Okay, so capex and opex, we all understand. Capex is something. Albert is looking at me. Is it time up? Okay. Yeah. So assets, any of your assets and it's an extrinsic value, right? Capex, you can see it. You can see where have you invested. Whereas opex is more intrinsic. You have invested and it's an expenditure. You don't know how are you going to talk and track about it. And the leadership is always concerned about opex. What can we do cost cutting this year? What can we cut the costs? Can we cut down the tea? Can we cut down the lunch? Can we cut down what else? Can you do the?
Can we cut down people?
Can we cut down first? That's the first thing. Can we cut down people? If I can't cut down people, can I control how much they eat, how much they drink? So those are the things. So the idea is the better for an organization when their expenditures are more capex than an opex. So in Agile, I'm just going to do one small quick round on this. Is very familiar in the traditional waterfall. What happens was in your requirements and design are all opex. So that means it's an expenditure at the cost of the organization, and then you will only charge or bill for the development work that happens, and then most of the maintenance works also become opex. That is because there are some tax implications which I will not go into in this topic because it will become a topic by itself. These are all country specific and these are all accounting law specific again. So we don't have a control why we should call something a capex and something an opex. These are all mandatorily done as per the law of that country. So some things which are capex here may be an opex in some other country also, depending upon how developed they are and what are the inflation rates and other things also happen that way. So this is how. That is why you will see that most of the development work is outsourced to countries in India and other places because of the tax implications that the organization actually can gain by doing that, because you can show these as capex in this country or some of these countries. That is one of the reasons why you will see a lot of outsourcing for these type of. If you see many organizations, the product owners, product managers will not be here, but most of the development activities will happen in outsourcing countries. So these are the reasons. Now, how Agile is changing, it is also actually forcing to change some of the laws in the countries as well, because in Agile it's very difficult how you will categorize, because your user story involves the design piece, involves a development piece, involves a testing and the maintenance aspect as well. So how are you going to split one user story into aspects of where can I call this a capex, where can I call this an opex? It's not possible, right? How will you split the user story in such a way? We are not asking, first of all, not to slice in a functional manner, right? That's the first lesson any Agile coach will come and tell you is, don't slice your story functional. And when you are not slicing it functional and everything is included in a single user story, your opex and capex become too diminished. It's impossible to almost separate them out. So now how do the organizations come out of it? So now people are coming out with some amount of details, and IRS and other laws in the US as well as European laws are looking at, okay, you can call only prioritization or the backlog refinement activity probably as a OPEX item, and rest of the things mostly CAPEX. Your spikes, which are mostly an R&D type of a work, is again OPEX, because you don't know how or who should be built for that, because you still don't know what needs to be done out of it. But once your spike is actually converted into a user story or a feature, then it becomes a CAPEX activity, right? So because of this, what are some of the advantages you can directly see is, once you know your development team is moved into a CAPEX item, you don't need to cut down people. That is the first and biggest advantage of any team moving into Agile is, because the teams can be branded as CAPEX expenditure, the organization is no more interested in cutting down people. So that is and then anything that you spend on managing the people again becomes a CAPEX. Right? So those are some of the biggest advantages. Like outside you can see, which you can, of course there are other things. So how does the funding happen? In earlier we used to have cost centers or project centers. I called it a cost center, but organizations have different name for it, project centers. So they will fund. So if project A has say 100K budget and project B has 200K budget, But after September, so it's say let us say the annual year is January to December for the project teams or the financial year, and project A has exhausted 100k by September. They need at least another 25k if they really want to do a good job going to market. Whereas project B has spent only about 150 and they don't need the balance 50. In earlier, it is very difficult for a financial organization to take out 25 from project B and give it to project A. It doesn't work like that. It's not like our home finance where I said I will buy fridge and then I suddenly saw my washing machine went off. So instead of refrigerator, I invested my whatever budget I had for refrigerator to washing machine. It doesn't work like that because the accounting details are very, very difficult. Anybody here in project financial teams here? Yeah. So probably you may answer some questions. If not now, at least during the lunch break for some of them. So you will not be able to take out costs like that and say, okay, 25k you want, I'll take it from and give it to you. So these people will give it back at the end of the year to the organization, saying I didn't use this 50k. So that is a depreciated cost. Why? Because what was worth 50k in September is not worth 50k in the month of January when you give it back. It would have depreciated to 46 or 47k by that time, and it's a depreciated cost which was lying there, nobody was using. And what was 25k required for project A at that time now has become 30k by the time you implement it in January, because the inflation and other things have influenced that. So that was the limitation of doing this. Now how do finance teams go agile and do that? So what we did, this is a work in progress. I will not claim that we have really seen all the results because it takes an entire financial year for us to see the results of this. But 5 more minutes? Yes. Okay. So financial results, it takes a lot of time. But what we did was, we started categorizing instead of BU or a project-wise, product-wise. What are the different products that are right now going and how much funding are each products asking for that? And which one to fund, how much should we fund which product categories, and which one are for negotiations. Bring 2 product lines and let them negotiate which product line should I say, you need 25k, you need 30k, but I only have 50. So okay, I don't have 55 to split it, so why don't you both discuss? So finance team started facilitating those discussions between the 2 product lines, talk to each other and see how we can divide, because I only have 50k and the need is right now 55k. So between the 2 of you, you both talk to each other, which of your features can go and which of your features can go and which one can be funded. And which one gets funded, how do we monitor? If there are remaining funding required, how can we take it out? Because it's within the product line. So we only fund epic or feature wise, we don't fund beyond that for a certain amount of epic or a feature. Yeah.
Isn't that one of the parameters for prioritizing the feature as a product owner?
Yes, but only thing is the funding will still be in the project. If you look at the old organizations, the funding is still waterfall. I have a budget which was sanctioned to me at the beginning of the year. In that budget, the product owner is now prioritizing. Now what happens with the given new freedom, I will prioritize based on which feature I want, not how much that feature costs and do I have a budget to fund that feature. Because by the time you come towards the end of the year, you may not have as much funding left with you, then you will compromise and say, no, I'll go for feature 10 because that needs 25k, although my feature 5 is more important, but I don't have 50k left to fund that feature 5. So that is how you used to now. Earlier you used to fund your features like that. Today you can fund, say, no, I'll go for feature 5, I will talk to the finance team and negotiate how much. You still have a budget at the beginning of the year for every organization. An organization cannot go with a blank check saying, I will fund whatever comes to me. The organization will still go for, okay, say 100k. Let's say, hypothetically, I'll go for 100k I have for this. But the 100k will get funded based on the priority, not based on at one time allotment of those funding to the project process. That is the biggest difference. And this used to be written, yeah.
How can we correlate this with the finance of the service-based company?
I haven't really done that, so probably I may want to come back to you after I do this. I have done this only in a product development company.
It's a little tricky also.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. That's a good one. Maybe my topic next, Zaid, where are you? My next topic for my next Scrum Bangalore? Funding in service organization. Give thank you. You gave me a slot for next session also already.
See, we can give you that slot, but please don't disappear and travel around the world.
Okay, I'll come back.
I can also join with Padma
Yeah, right.
because I am from the service background.
Yes, we should do that. We should do that. In fact, we should do one session completely on service-based organization. Okay, coming back to this, 2 more minutes. Okay, I'll just complete this. So the funding will happen, and this we did it a monthly scrum. We didn't see a need for doing it 2 weeks because it's too short. Because at least 2 sprints should have been completed to see which features are getting completed and which features are pending and how much funding is required. So we shifted for a monthly, like a 4-week sprint here, and started doing it from month-wise, like first to the 31st of the month. Okay, so the advantages, of course, clear identification of priority funding. I mean, these are all English, you can read it. I'll move on to the next slide. And I have just 2 more minutes to spend on the next 2 slides. So what did we do? So I will directly go. So we actually went for a mapping when we started doing it for the sales and marketing team. We did it for all the teams, but I did not have enough time back I can do. So that's why I chose different slides for different business units I did, so that I can cover all aspects. So every business unit which is non-IT we went for, we mapped what do you call a backlog in this organization, for this organization. What is a backlog in a finance? What do we call it? How do we write a story in a HR organization? How do we write a story in a finance organization? What is the typical impediment that will come? What is the release cycle? What will you demo? What will you show your customers at the end of this sprint? So we defined a kind of a glossary for each of the business units that we went for. That was one. And we also actually mapped activities for each of the business unit. I've just given it for sales marketing here. But we said, how do you do review? So if this is a typical picture you're seeing, but those boxes with arrows is something we created for each of the business units. Like, what do you refine backlog and when you have defined it? Who is the team there? Sales, marketing, sales ops. Who is the Scrum Master? What is the demo? So we did this for each business unit to create clarity. How do we implement a Scrum in our organization? What do we do in a Scrum in our organization? So this is an important exercise I actually encourage and recommend all of you when you are coaching at an enterprise level and when you are specifically been asked to coach a non-IT organization like a finance. Start here. This should be your first starting point when you are trying to do an enterprise transformation. And of course, these are simple things, boards which are much easier to do, and we went for a bi-weekly or a 2-week sprint here. And results, of course, transparency, customer details, we know which customers are coming and what is the pipeline and other things. IT operations, I'll just touch this. This is the last one, and I'll finish. Time out actually, okay. Your lunch is all getting cold now. Scrum for IT. So this is, I think, everyone. I have a video which you can see when these guys upload it in SlideShare. I will not run the video now. And this is one of the things you have seen also many times, I'm sure. The I Love Lucy thing from the Candy Factory. That's a typical example of how IT team works. A lot of people tell that like IT operations best go for Kanban. I have seen that even Scrum works there because your IT team is working in Scrum. If you are on Kanban and if you are not able to have a weekly or a bi-weekly rhythm with the IT team you are supporting, it becomes very difficult. This was a bit elaborate one we started having. This I have taken it from the Lean Kit, but we used something similar, but I couldn't bring that here. What we did was, there was nothing like a product backlog refinement. Everyday daily stand-up used to serve as a backlog refinement, saying what is the priority, which one should we do? Because mostly the IT operation team works on SLAs, right? 72 hours, 48 hours, 24 hours or something like that to fix that. So how do we do that? So work on priority. So your backlog refinement happens in your daily stand-up actually. So your daily stand-up is not exactly daily stand-up, but may take about 20 to 30 minutes to discuss which are the priorities. Who should do? Do we have the SME who can do that and all that? And at retrospective we did along, and what we also did was the IT operations team members would join one of the IT teams they are supporting or they are working with, and one of the IT team also we used to encourage them to come and see, are we giving enough operational support to your team that is actually whom we are working with. So although retrospectives are restricted, we always say don't invite outsiders. This is one place where we took a deviation and said we will have representatives, because why am I doing this IT operations is for you. So you come and tell me, or I'll come to yours and see what is going on in your teams. And also invite them for daily stand-ups, at least alternate days or once in a week to come and do that. So that's about my journey in non-IT. I know it's time out and I think we are all going to have lunch. So any questions probably in the interest of time and hunger and respect for the food, we will close here and I can definitely take your questions during the lunch time. Okay? Thank you so much.